Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This video or this live stream is for Patriotic bows. I've got several ribbons. Here's just some of them. There's some more. I've got lots and lots of ribbons. I even got a natural there just in case. Sometimes you want to break up the patterns. And then see, I've got some that are polka dot, some with just the colors in them, so it's okay to break up the colors and stuff and the patterns with different things, with solids and stripes and stars and gingham, and see, I've got all different ones. And then this is a organza or a sheer. Having trouble pulling this up. I want to pull it up before I start on my tablet here. I like to see what's going on, and if anybody live chats, then I can't see it unless I'm on my tablet here. There we go. It's kind of dark though, isn't it? I don't know what it is about my GoPro, but when I record or anything in the evenings, it's super dark if I don't have the natural light coming in. So let's try this and see how that looks. It's a little better, not a whole lot. Okay. So of course I want to do multiple layers and ribbons on these bows. It just gives it a more dramatic look. I just put them in this little box so they will stay upright and we can pull on them. Maybe. It's kind of tight in here, so I might have to pull that out. There. And you can also use a dowel rod, put it through the ribbon, and then you can go like this. So you don't have to fight it so much. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to figure out the lighting and do something different with the lighting, so that's on my to-do list, and getting a microphone and all that good stuff, but all that takes money, so we will see. I think it's this ribbon that doesn't want to do it. I'm gonna start out with this one in the center, and I'm gonna go 6 inches. So I'm just pinching that together at the 6-inch mark. And then you can go to your 12, make your loop, so where it's going like that. So see, the pattern is on top, the pattern is on top, but now it's not. So you have to twist. So you can twist it that way or you can twist it this way, whichever way seems more natural. Sometimes you kind of have to fight it, so go the opposite way if you have to fight it, because it wants to turn a certain direction. So you can go to the 10 and then count to 6, whatever works for you. Again, I'm just going to twist that, but I'm going to move it this way because I want both my tails coming down. And then I got these at the DollarTree. They're metal, they work really great. So I'm just going to pinch that together like that. Put it on that line and kind of try to get to that 6-inch line. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'll move some stuff around here. You can just put that off to the side. Let's see. Nope. I'm going to do the blue next. I want a pattern or a color next that's going to make that top one pop. See how that pops on that dark blue? But if I put it on top of that one, it's too much. It's too busy. So we need to break that up. Now, I'm not going to do all the tails coming down because I want to make this for either a lantern or a wreath or whatever. I've lost YouTube on everything here. I can get it back up. Okay. But I'm going to stick with 6 inches for this tail. So you can grab it and pinch it like that, or you can kind of work your way up, whichever way works better for you. Let's see how that's going to go up in the middle. And then I'm going to do 6 inches is really too small for these wide ribbons. See how small that is? So I'm going to go 8 on it. There, see, that's better. You can see that's one of those places where the ribbons get sealed together, where they run out and then they seal them together. That happens all the time. You can't control that. There's no way to know when you open a roll of ribbon that it's going to be like that. But this one, they did a really good job. It sealed really good. The only thing is I knew there was something wrong there because the star was smaller. 8 inches. I'm going to go down this time. So you put your loops where you want them. You can force them any direction. See, I went that way, that way, that way, that way. But you could go that way and then just keep going this way. Okay, 6 inches again. And you can keep using the same ribbons over, just keep layering them. We go back and forth. If you only have 2 ribbons, just keep layering those 2 ribbons. You're still going to get a really nice look out of it. Let's see. You can kind of go like that, but you gotta make sure the center of each bow is lining up in some way. That way when you tie them off, you don't lose these loops. So you want to make sure everything that's going this direction stays there and everything that goes that direction stays there. And after you tie your bow, you can move your loops around and your tails around however you want, but just be careful. If you make it too big and going all over the place before you tie it off, then you're going to end up not tying off certain loops and you're going to lose those loops. And I know this because I've done it so many times, but I've been a lot more careful lately and I haven't done it in a long time, so I'll probably do it tonight. Thank you. How are you doing, Diana? See, I told you I have to look at my tablet to read the chats. Can't see it on anything else. I hate how dark it is. It's driving me nuts. Okay, I think I'm going to move on to this one under that dark. See, that's going to pop really well. And you can go longer each time. So I think I'll go 7 on this one. And then let's try 9 on the loops. And if you want to try it out, don't pinch the ribbon, just kind of mark it and go like this. And then you can see, yeah, it's going to be bigger. But you may want it even bigger than that, so you can try 10. Say, yeah, that's what I like it better like that. So, but if you go ahead and pinch it and then decide you don't want it, it's going to be creased a little bit, so your ribbons are going to be messed up just a little bit. So again, I don't want to twist it that way because it's forcing it to twist too much and it keeps wanting to go back and your loops aren't going to look as good. So twisting it this way because it just naturally wants to twist that way. And you don't have to do even amounts on your loops. You can do odd amounts. You can change it up. It was a beautiful day here too. Wasn't it just a couple of weeks ago? It was snowing. It seems like it was just a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure it was longer than that. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna cut 7. And you don't have to do your tails all the same length either. If you know which one's going to be on top, you might want to do the top ones not as long. It just depends on the look you're going for. So I'm going to twist it that way just a hair. But again, that tail goes that way, so I need to make sure that I'm marking that. And these ribbons are so thick that you have to be careful. That's as far as I'm going to get with that. And I have to be careful that these aren't going to fall off. They're wanting to. So I can go back and go like this on this side to keep it still. But this also gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. And then I have the smaller one. Most of the time you'll notice people will stick with the smaller ones on the top and then get wider as they make each layer, but you don't have to do that. Okay, I'm gonna go 8. And I'm going to go 10 again. You're going to notice these loops are going to look bigger. See how big they look with that thinner ribbon? This one's hard to tell, but it is only white stars on that side. It's just kind of, you can kind of see through it. 10. Again, see, I can do my loop here, or I can move it down here and then do my next loop here. And then do one. And with the thinner ribbon, this is the 1.5 inch width, you're going to have to do more loops the bigger you go. The bigger the bow, the more the loops. I think I'm only going to do 7 on this top one. And some more of these. I just had to get them. I really want some more red, I think. So I'll do some gingham. It's glittery, so I'm going to go 8, and then I'm going to go 11. Don't have a whole lot on there. Sometimes those ribbons want to just pinch in the center there, so you just need to poop them out. And if your bow gets messed up a little bit, if it gets smashed, just put your hands in there, your fingers in there, however big the loops are, and just kind of poke them out. Just fluff them out. Go about 8 on that one. See, that's not working very well. If you need to take a chenille stem or a cable tie and go ahead and tie off the layers, you can, and then tie it all together. Sometimes I do that. The only thing is the center is going to get really thick, so just be aware of that. You can also add just some extra tails in there. So if you think it needs an extra, okay, let's see. Maybe an extra this on the bottom. You can measure that out. Let's see. We'll go 14. That's 14 right there. So I want to go 7 to find the center. And then you can add it wherever you want to. So I'm just going to add it to the very back. And I'm going to do it that direction. So it's going different direction than these 2 tails. Carefully remove all these. You see how thick that is? That can be very difficult to tie off. That's why when I get with things like this, I want to do them with a cable tie. And I did find a couple of clear ones I had from somewhere. They're really long. So just carefully go around that center. And you can take a chenille stem before you tie it all the way off and run it on there. Gotta make sure it's centered. Now I'm gonna pull it tight. I'm gonna get my needle nose pliers here and pull that even tighter than before. Now you're just going to move your loops around wherever you want them. Loops and tails. See how those loops there are kind of smashed together. So I'm going to pull those apart. You could kind of smash them in and make them funky looking, you can. So I'm trying to fill it out so it's not like bare in the middle. Okay, now I'm going to trim off the ends. You can just fold them under if you want to, but a lot of times they will come undone, so you can add just a touch of hot glue to hold it, but be very careful not to do too much. It's going to look hot glued. So you want pretty ends like that. And I'm not going to do all of them right now. That's really time consuming and I don't want to bore you guys with that. You can get the gist of that. You can do some of them at an angle if you want. Some of them like that. Some of them folded under. Just depends on what you want. And then you can, if you want, if you're worried about that showing, then you can take another chenille stem and go over that. And then just twist the chenille stems around these ends. But what do y'all think of that? It's pretty, isn't it? I'm gonna try moving my light one more time. Probably on my camera. Oh. Trying to center it, but I'm getting into the camera. Start. I want to make sure that looks good. There's a delay, so I have to wait. Now, you could use these ribbons also to make a hair bow. You don't have to use gross grains for hair bows. And I wish I'd thought of that and gotten the hot glue gun going. I don't have it going right now. But what I would do, just pick your ribbon and cut the length you need. And I've got measurements. So like if you were doing a boutique or a cheer bow, let's see, let me find one I have a lot of. Maybe the flag ribbon. I'll just do like a cheer bow design. And I'll do like 32 inches. Oh, thank you, Diana. I'm kind of losing my voice here. Now, what you want to do though is you want to pull out these wires. This is what I do with the homecoming mums when I use these ribbons on homecoming mums, because the wires will just make it look bad. So you want it to fold and lay like more naturally. So that's why I take the wires out. Now it's all floppy. And you just want to hold it like that, find the center. And you can mark it if you need to, like that. So I know that's lined up. Go like that. Again, you can go like this and make sure it's lined up. Now, on your tails, if you leave them like this, then they're going to be off to the side. So it's really up to you what you want to do. So if you want to pull them down, you just twist like this. And then you can go like that, but it's too wide to really make that look good, so I always start on one side and just kind of accordion it like that. And you could get some gross grain and double layer that, like red or blue on the inside, and that way it'll be even stiffer. But you just want to, I like to sew, and I don't actually sew it usually because sometimes I have to take them apart and start over, and then you'll end up with a hole in it. So I just take the thread and wrap it around and tie it off. I don't know if I have any here close. Don't. And then hot glue your barrette or whatever you're using, or hair tie. And then take a pretty ribbon for the center, which you could take this and fold it over like that, and then hot glue it like so, or just a solid color, and then you kind of form your loops. But that would be a fun little cheer bow if you wanted to do that. I'll say that. I think I'll do one. Maybe I'll make a video on it too, where you guys can see it finished. Since I already took the wire out, I need to use it. Okay, now I'm gonna do one, let's see. Well, I did use a natural in that. I've got some naturals, and then I've got some that are just more bright colors like these. And this, let's see. There's that organza. Guess you can kind of still see that, can't you? Also do that one in there too if I want to do one more layer. That's pretty. Last time I did a live stream, I knocked my camera over. So I've got this heavy roll of ribbon behind it, kind of anchoring it. But of course I'm not doing a wreath either, so I don't have to worry about it as much. But my hair and makeup's done, so if it does fall over, I won't embarrass myself this time. Now, again, this is like an organza or sheer, so it's pretty. It's got this pretty, you know, when the light hits it, I don't know how to describe it, but it does kind of, it's not glittery, but it's just shiny. So it is pretty, but it is see-through, so it's not a solid color. I think on this one I'm going to start at 6 inches again, but I think I'm going to do a center loop, so I'm just going to mark my 6 inches and then go like that. Just go like this. Now I know those look the same on both sides, but it just looks better if you go ahead and twist it. I learned that technique from someone that's been making bows and wreaths and stuff. When they taught me it, they had been doing it for well over 4 years. So I'm really appreciative of all the stuff I learned from that person. And this one is just simple red, white, and blue. And I'm going to try holding on to this bow and then wrapping it up for as long as I can. can be a little difficult once you get really going with it. So again, I'm going to do 6 inches. Twist that ribbon, 6 inches. And I'm trying to get them as close as possible to the same size. And then 6 inches. So you see, when you do an odd number of loops, you're going to have your tails going one direction. So just think about that. And if you want to add another tail, you can do that too. You could go 12 again, and then find the center for the middle, and then just however which way you want to do it. But they can't go in the same direction, because then when I tie it off, they won't stay. So now I'm going to have 3 going that way, but that's okay. I'm going to go with blue again, but this solid blue, and I wish I had remembered to cut that off first. Six. Actually, I think I'm going to go that way. So just start where you want it. Very careful here. Okay. 6. And I'm going to end up with these on the same side. And this is where it can get tricky. I'm kind of losing my center there, so I'm going to have to be very careful. Make sure I know which ones are going that way and which ones are going this way. And since I made a center loop, I'm going to have to go through the middle when I tie it off, or you'll lose that. Okay, let's see. Nope. I'm going to stick with the small ones first. That's already been trimmed, so I'm going to go over a little bit. Start on that same side. But I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to go 8. So just make sure you're making your loops go whichever direction you want them to go. You see, I ended up with, both my tails going that way, and I can force it to go this way if I want, or I can keep it that way. Whatever you want. This one, I don't know if you can see that, but the background white is real shiny. It's pretty. I didn't notice that before. You can go back to this organza. And then do 8 again. Holding it and building off of it is also makes it more difficult to tie it off at the end, because it gets easier to lose where you're at. So I'm going to try my best not to mess it up. I'm going to go 7 on that one. And 7. And then 10. And you can do like this one I did a little bit longer, see? So the tails don't have to be all the same length, even on the same ribbon. You can go different lengths. And then if you just want one tail, just decide where and cut it up a little bit over, pinch it, and then add it to the bottom. Just be careful when you tie it off and make sure it's overlapping that tie a little bit. I'm gonna grab another tail, and I'm just eyeballing this one. Just figure out what length you want it, what looks good. Again. Go a little bit longer than those. Gonna pinch that. Here's what I'm talking about. Just gonna go over a little bit. And then after you tie it off, you can pinch these down, or you might be able to do it beforehand, but just make sure it's long enough. But fold that over so it doesn't fray as easily. I've got some 4-inch cable ties here, but I think they're too small because that's still a really thick center. I've actually got one more of these, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. So again, I'm going through that center loop. Twisting it around. You can see that's overlapped. Here's the Chenille stem where it gets too tight. I almost made it too tight, so I have to be careful. Make it as tight as you can in the center. It just, I don't know what it does, but it just makes your bows look so much better. My battery's getting low. See how that's already folded under, so if you wanted to do that, you can. I don't like it because you can see through it. And again, you can cut it at an angle if you want for a different look. But where this crease is, you want to make sure you cut that off so you don't see that crease, because it'll look bad. And sometimes it doesn't look real great and you have to redo it. The ribbon wasn't perfectly straight, so there. And you can move everything around. You can barely see that loop. Oops. I mean about just sticking your fingers in there and moving those however you need them. You can kind of go like this too to curl the tails if you want them to curl. Start at the middle. Just go along that wire. Just doing that with the wire. I don't even know if this has wire. Yeah, it does. Go like that. It just makes them curl a little bit. See, just gives them a natural curl, and that really looks good when it's on a wreath. And it kind of curls around the wreath. Again, you can do this. This would be great on a lantern, on a mailbox, swag. You can put this in the middle of a garland, wherever. This can be tied to anything. And then if you need more than that, you can take another chenille stem and you can tie them together. Just make sure they're twisted really good. Or you could have used tinsel wire, which comes, a lot of it comes in a roll, so you can make it as long as you want. My battery is getting severely low, so I'm gonna get cut off here in a second. So I'm gonna have to go. I appreciate you guys watching, and please subscribe, and don't forget to tap the bell for notifications. Comment, share, like. Please be kind with your comments. Please be kind to others. And please comment. I mean, I really want y'all to comment and let me know what you want to see. If I'm getting too repetitive or anything, I need, you know, some insight. So y'all just let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. Just kind of be nice about it. Some people are rude about it, so I appreciate it, Diana. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the kind words and for chatting. I appreciate that. Hope everybody is well. So I'm going to go, and I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you. Good night.